guys, and welcome to Escape with Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're looking at the new Tandorio Field Watch. Tandorio, it's a relatively new brand coming out of China, but I believe they at least share parts with the Bleeger brand. And I actually really like the Tandorio name, and I think they've been putting out some pretty nice watches over the past couple months. So if they're not on your radar, they should be, because I think they're doing some pretty nice things and kind of unusual things. So yeah, kudos to Tandorio for trying something new. So this watch, it's available from multiple retailers on AliExpress. I purchased it from the My Watch Code store. I'll be leaving a link down in the description. And the full retail price, which is what I paid for it, is $76. I actually think it was a little bit higher, but now the regular price is $76. And yeah, that's what I paid for it, and I haven't really seen it go any lower than that. So yeah, maybe you'll be able to get it for a little bit cheaper, but I wouldn't expect it. And $76 for this thing is a really good deal in my opinion. So the watch is offered in quite a few different configurations. They have what you see here with the bezel being brushed. And then they offer this with a polished bezel. They offer this in a traditional field watch style. They sell it with a pilot's watch setup and a couple of different straps. So you're bound to find a configuration that you like. So what do you get for your money? You get a full 316L stainless steel case. You get sapphire crystal. You get this leather strap. I don't know. We'll talk about that in a little bit. You get a screw down crown, a screw down case back, and 200 meters of water resistance, and you get a Seiko NH35 automatic movement. And yeah, I don't typically talk about the packaging, but since this is a new brand, I will mention it real quick. You do get a Tandorio branded box. It's just a cardboard box, simple thing, and cleaning cloth and just foam inside. It's nothing fancy, but I guess you could give this as a gift. So, but yeah, so how does this newcomer fare in the sea of AliExpress watches? Let's find out. So first things first, as usual, we start with the dimensions. So this is advertised as a 39mm watch, and I'm getting 38.9 on the calipers, 12mm thick, 20mm lug width, and an overall lug to lug of 48.1. So it's nice compact dimensions. It's one of those sizes that's going to fit pretty much everyone that tries it on. You don't have too much curve down to the lugs. There is a little bit there. It does sit just a little, I want to say like slab sided, and they could have trimmed this down just a little bit, I think, but it really doesn't look bad on the wrist. But I'm going to go outside right now and throw it on mine for you. And here we are on my 7.5 inch wrist, and with those dimensions, as you would expect, it wears pretty good, and I think it's going to wear good for a lot of people. So yeah, it does look really good. The fully brushed case, we'll talk about that in just a minute. Looks really good out in the daylight here. Yeah, the strap seems to have plenty of adjustments. We'll also talk about that. But yeah, extremely legible. I just love the dial on this thing. Looks really, really good. Get out in some direct sunlight. Even in some direct sunlight, I mean, it's really, really all about legibility with this thing. Flat crystal, so you don't get the crazy reflections, and yeah, it just looks really good. But I'm gonna go throw this on a couple straps, and then we can get back to the review. And here we are on a vintage Vario tan leather strap. That looks really, really good. I think this dial just kind of pops with like a brown strap on it, so it does look really, really good, I thought. What do you guys think? Here we are on a single pass elastic strap, kind of an olive green with a white stripe. Looks really, really good. Still very comfortable on the wrist, and yeah, I actually really like this combo. Looks really good. I'm gonna go throw it on one more strap and we'll get back to it. And here it is on a khaki NATO strap, and I mean, this watch I think should live on a NATO, personally. I know they're not for everyone, but I really like the look of them, and that khaki just really brings out those dial markers. I think it looks really good. But let's go back inside and we'll get back to the review. So getting real close, we'll talk about the case finishing on this. Pretty simple. You have a kind of circular brushing on the tops of the lugs here. You've got a horizontal brushing on the sides, brushed bezel. They do offer this in a polished bezel. The case back, it's a circular brush. It does have your typical spec sheet, water resistance, and automatic and all that stuff. Nice to see they're just using traditional slots for a tool to open this up if you ever need to. I think the case finishing is done pretty good, actually. I'm not seeing too much that I don't like about it. I'm going to see if I can show it to you here. So right on this little tip of the lug, you'll see right about here, you can see kind of this little hoop there. I'm not sure what that is, but it's on every single lug. You can see it right there. It's just barely noticeable. And that's just kind of what you expect with something like this, like 75 bucks. You can't expect perfection, right? So you're going to get better finishing on something like a San Martin or maybe even a steel dive. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the brushing on it. It's mostly even and linear and nicely done. I've got no real complaints with it. Even between the lugs, it's done fairly well. I will say, again, I'm going to bring out my pointer. You can see here, the inside of this corner here is kind of rounded off. Looks pretty good. And this one here is definitely not as nicely done. And same thing up here. This corner is not nicely done. This one is. So it's just little things like that that you can expect to kind of notice if you're really nitpicking these things. But 75 bucks. I mean, you can't nitpick it too much. It's not any deal breakers. And you'll notice the crown on this, it is a polished crown. I really wish they would have just done a brush crown. That kind of sticks out like a sore thumb almost. The actual teeth on it, I guess they are polished. It doesn't distract too much, the actual teeth of it, but the end of this face here definitely needs, like, just a circular brushing would be plenty. So something they can improve on for sure. The crystal on this, I'll test it for sapphire. It is a sapphire crystal, just a flat sapphire crystal, no anti-reflective coating. It sits just pretty much perfectly flush with the bezel there. It does have a slight little chamfer there just to give some interest to it, but overall it's the simplest crystal you can get. I've got no problems with flat sapphire crystals. I think they're one of my favorites. If you're not going to put AR on something, just use a flat crystal, and the reflections are not that bad. So yeah, pretty happy with the crystal. Getting real close to the dial here. So like I mentioned, it does come in a couple different dial options. This one here, I just really love these big white numerals and then the kind of Fotina that's splashed on there. It does look really good. The numerals do have a little bit of depth to them. I'm not sure if it's coming across or not. But yeah, it looks pretty good. Everything looks aligned nicely. I don't see any alignment issues. You've got this kind of the British military crow's foot down at the 6 o'clock position. I opted for no branding on this one, which is pretty unusual for me. I usually do prefer some branding on it, but this watch dial, I think, just looks great without any branding on it. So, yeah, really happy with it. I do like the railroad track, minute track printed around the outside. All the printing is done pretty good, except on this number 9 here. You can see a little smudge in that luminous paint. And that is visible just, when you're wearing it on the wrist. Yeah, it's just a little quality control issue. The handset on this, just a pure white handset. It is lume filled. The second hand is not lumed, which is unfortunate. I thought for sure they'd have that lumed on the tip of that second hand, but they don't. But yeah, I really like these kind of syringe style hands. They're, in my opinion, perfectly sized. The minute hand reaches all the way out to the minute track. Same with that second hand, reaches right almost through the minute track. Really, really happy with the handset on this thing. And I just love the matte black dial with the white hands. It's all about legibility with this one. And I did mention that the dial and the hands are lumed. So I'm going to pop up a lume shot right now, and you can see it against some of the other watches in my collection. It's not the best lume. I didn't really expect it to be good at all. And it's not even the top 10 in my watch box. So a little unfortunate, but expected, I guess. So let's talk about the movement in this. So like I mentioned earlier, this is still using a Seiko NH35, so they were able to source some of those or had some in stock. Really happy that they have the NH35 in here. Screw down crown, again, unsigned, but nice and grippy crown, good size in my opinion. The screw in and screw out action is excellent. I've got no problems with it. You get a nice satisfying pop out. First position, hand winds it. Second position is a ghost date position. And you can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can definitely feel it moving back there. And then third position, hacks the movement. And then you can set your hands to wherever you need to. Yeah, you know, it's an NH35. It's reliable, it's accurate, affordable, all that stuff. So really happy they're using the NH35 in it. So let's talk about the strap. So it does smell a little bit like leather. So it at least has some leather to it. It's definitely not my favorite strap. It's not horrible, but it's not my favorite strap. It does taper, kind of has that abrupt taper there. It reminds me a lot of the Escapement Time leather strap. So 20 millimeters there, and it tapers down to 18 millimeters. You know, got the nice contrast stitching here, and you can see, look at that compared to that. So this side looks really good. This side is a little wonky. And that's pretty much the only spot that I noticed like a quality issue with the stitching on the strap. Otherwise, the stitching seems pretty good. The buckle on it, again, pretty much ripped right out of the Escapement Time. Mixture of brushed and polished. I actually do like this buckle. It's a pretty nice buckle. It's unsigned, unspectacular, I'll say that, but it does work really good and it feels solid, and I think it actually looks pretty good. You got one stationary keeper. You've got one floating keeper. It does conform pretty good. I feel like the more you wear this thing, the better it's gonna wear. But pretty much you're gonna want to throw this on a different strap. It's not a bad strap. It's a livable strap. Yeah, but it's not one that I don't really like the color of it. Kind of a dark chocolate brown, I guess. But yeah, and like I mentioned, you can get this on other straps, and definitely 20 millimeter straps, you're going to have plenty of options out there. So just get yourself a different strap. So there you go, guys. That's the Tandorio Field Watch. I really do like it. I think the dial and just the specs of this thing make it a no-brainer for me. I really love the look of that dial. I mean, that just looks so good. I just wish they had better lume. I would definitely be willing to pay, you know, $100 easily for something with some, you know, C3 lume on it. But yeah, it's definitely a good option at the price for sure. If you guys want to see some more pictures of this, I will definitely be posting this on my Instagram channel, so I'll leave that link down below. If you have any questions or comments, or you know, whatever you think about this thing, drop them down in the comment section. I love chatting with you guys. I'd like to hear what you think about this watch and Tandorio as a new brand. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you like the name? Let me know what you think. I think that's about it, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.